Yet. So can anyone hear me? Is it just Edison's stream? But yeah, I mean, talking about Ganth a little bit, I was excited to see what Duxton would do again, even if it wasn't the most favorably competitive format.
Yeah.
But I understand that people have schedules. Magma was sprung on us pretty much. We didn't have that much
Yeah.
in terms of
It was
head-some.
it was brutal. The timeline was very brutal.
And I will just wait for confirmation. Okay, apparently it is live now, so it just took its time. We are seeing the match open up. Vrakas takes an immediate dispel. He does not take much damage off of that, but the flame vulns are just so... Oh my gosh, that Grintle round is just awful. It's just awful. That's all there is to it. That's interesting, because I was doing locates earlier, and it looked as though Renton had 3 skins. So maybe they weren't red dragon skins, because that certainly looks like the vuln is tapping a lot.
For sure. And that would have probably taken care of that a little bit, at least.
Yeah.
Noticeably, at least.
Well, now it's proccing a little bit, so I suppose he does, but it doesn't matter because he does anyway. KCS is looking to make this a very quick match, and to go ahead and cement their first place seed. And Vasha as well does not look long for this world. And the thing about trolls... Yeah, the thing about trolls is that even if you mount, they can still bash you. So Crusader is...
Yep, they get that special advantage.
That horse isn't very stable. You can just picture it like the whole roleplay tableau, just the giant troll looming over the horse.
Horse hitting the wall.
Snaying. But let me ask you a little bit about Brute Squad since I have you here. It looks like your attendance was good this season, except Branzel looked as though he was busy. So was he otherwise occupied? I know he showed for one match.
I'm not sure how I should answer this, but
okay.
He is he's taken some time for himself, so it's kind of up in the air if he's going to be going into the regular season. I'm not going to speak for him or speak for the team on that, but we'll see. But it's leaning on the side of him, doing some stuff for his own career. He just got out of college and got a degree. He's trying to figure stuff out for himself. So, we love the guy. So, we hope he can show up. But, if he can't, he's got to do his thing. So it's all good.
I think that's great. I mean, it's great that he's actually getting out there and doing something for himself, because Branzel he has been a long-time faithful member of the Brute Squad since Season 3.
Sure.
So it's not as though he didn't put in the time. He put in a lot of time, and I believe he even showed for one match this Magma. So if he has to do things... I know that he left a note a few months back saying, I'm not going to get to spend as much time playing. So I don't think that it is parochial to the Brute Squad. I think that it's pretty much universally, hey, guys, I'm having trouble playing DSL this much because I have stuff to do.
Yeah, that's generally what it sounds like, man. I can't speak for Phil to say, whether or not he's going to be there or not permanently, but it just sounds like he's got stuff going on.
Let me ask you sort of the drama train question that has been going around. In fact, we'll broach these because it's important to broach what the player base is thinking, right? So the first I'll ask you is, did Brute Squad have a reaction to Bodrum's boils at the time of implementation? And if so, what was the reaction immediately?
Yeah, well...
you can speak constructively. There was a reaction? Okay.
There was a reaction. There was a hard reaction. I'm just going to say that we said some things. Okay. And
you had a dialogue.
It looks like it got changed probably for the better.
It did,
because I don't know if you remember when that first got implemented. It was like 20 ticks and 20 to cast and really crazy. So it needed to be toned, obviously. So
yeah, and to Tony's credit, he got on that really quickly. It's just the first day something is implemented, it's in the game. You spark excitement, and then you sort of your test kitchen for Tony. because we don't have a testing phase. We
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
make-
like a group of
basic-
testers. You put it out there and you see what the general reaction is, and then you sort of, you become versatile toward that reaction. But
we were somewhat vocal. That's all I'm going to say.
so the other question I want to ask is,
Sure.
Well, let's see. Let's just go over a couple of the questions that have sort of been looming. There's been a question of whether we should expand, and if we should expand next regular season, should there be a vetting process as far as the activity of owners? And I think speaking about this more universally and not casting shade on anyone, I think that there should be two proponents before you actually incorporate a draft, personally. And the first is that all owners are vetted, that they kind of do that attendance thing of, hey, I'm here, raise my hands, and then that we have a certain minimum draft requirement in order to expand. Then I think ACFL could get really exciting. But, the big questions, the threads that are going on in ACFL right now are, okay, there's all this sort of discord over ownership. I know Philip chimed in a few hours ago, and pretty much the rest of the P-Base has too.
I saw that. Yeah, definitely. I honestly, I totally agree with you, and I think that's where the stability lies, is within the owners, and what they can do, because there's still going to be a draft process no matter what, and they're going to have to go through that. We just need activity, and with anything we learned from last season, and right now is like Quicksilver. Unfortunately, I hate to mention them, but it's rough. And I think there's people willing to do it out there. I don't know if they have the means to register, but maybe they could figure that out.
Yeah,
Sealy, which would be great.
I know there's still players.
How many players do we have right now?
110. So that's a good, and 122 for the boot. So that's a very good boot. In addition, I know for a fact there would be owners who would be really excited to get into the league.
For sure.
I know that Luna's expressed interest at one point, and he seems like he'd be a great owner. Just all of the experience that person offers. He has the wealth, I believe. He would treat his players well. So there are people waiting on the outskirts for a chance. And again, if we expand, and I'm so excited to expand, I would love to do it if the P-Base is showing through. We need to see a draft of over 30 players, and we need to see some sort of vetting process that would guarantee owner activity. That's my feeling about it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that's 100% reasonable. I mean, I'm curious, how many draft players were left over last season? Do you even know?
No, I do know. There were 16 at the output.
See?
That's two teams.
Yep.
And again, I would assume that two new owners would get sort of the pick, the cream of the crop at the start, just to give them a fighting chance. Quicksilver was a newish team, and by season 4, I believe, they had created a team that got all the way to the championship finals. I think that's less likely to happen now, just because we have most of the star players registered in the ACFL right now, but we could still see people enter an alt and then improve season by season to the point where they could create competitive teams.
Sure, and I think even the option of new teams would even would definitely draw people out of the woodwork, because look at how many players are on during this CAS and during this Magna Cup. So, I know that some of you owners, I'm not an owner, but you guys kind of are vetting against it. But I think realistically, what we're seeing is it'd be really great to see an extra team, maybe not 2, but maybe 1. I don't know.
Yeah. I have said this before, which is that ACFL is the only format that engages every single part of the player base. To a lesser extent, okay, so you have player killing. Obviously, that's in the form of ACFL itself. You have a strategy that's in the league. You have the forums going off on ACFL events. The forum activity drastically increases just as the player base does during ACFL. And then you have, this hasn't been the case for a while, but you have the stands where people come and roleplay, and you also have people like Ashtai bringing it into an interview lot.
Yep.
So it's an incredibly engaging event for the player base. It's just a shame.
And we have podcasts now too.
We do.
Only driving it.
I have heard rumor that you and Brandon are going to start one of your own, an R-rated podcast.
We'll see. I'm still on the fence. He's probably going to hear this, but I'm sure he'll send me a note.
He'll just say, "Hey, you fucker."
But yeah, totally. There's a lot of positivity going towards it, and just for me, I started last season. I've been a player for a long time with the same character, and it's really, to be honest, for all the new players out there, I mean, it's really reinvigorated my my interest in DSL. It's very challenging, for sure. It's going to be rough your first season, but it's very fun. It's really cool, and you get to normally group with a group of people that you get to get some camaraderie with. So it's
speaking on a more positive note.
Yeah.
So how would you view, just because I think player interpretation of owner participation is very important, do you feel that Brute Squad has a stable, responsible owner who will sort of guide you guys and be very active in the process?
Brute Squad?
Mm-hmm. Brute Squad.
100%.
That's good to hear.
100%.
Yeah, I think that for all the hoopla lately, most of the ACFL owners care about their team. So I would say, in the spirit of positivity, I mean, you guys have shown interest in this league. There are 120 people now. It was around 90 during winter, and some of that is because of the winter months, just because the player base always dips around that time. But we have had a resurgence in February is still pretty great. So I'm not going to always be here to cast. So I do want to say ACFL is the funnest thing in this game, in my opinion, right now. And
yeah,
I can't wait. I mean, this season hasn't even ended, and I still can't wait until Season 7 starts. So go and hashtag get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got a good point there. And I think all the owners should be doing the same thing, and the players should all be doing the same thing too. It's incredibly fun. If you're worried about, signing up for the draft, don't be. There's a good chance that you'll get in there. I didn't even think I would get drafted. I got number 1 pick last year. That was a surprising thing. But yeah, it's super rewarding. It's really, and I agree with you completely, Alan. It's a really fun game to play.
Yeah, I just want to point out, Grayson had never done ACFL before, and then it got him hooked onto the game. So I think that speaks for itself when you can bring an old-timer, a 1996 old-timer, and have him still playing it daily.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I will let everyone go. Grayson, thanks so much for chiming in.
Yeah, of course, brother.
It's good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good night.